The ocean was still until it wasn't. In the gray morning fog of the South China Sea, two warships crossed paths that never should have met. At 6:42 local time, a Chinese Type 056A corvette slammed into the Philippine Coast Guard vessel BRP Malabrigo near 2nd Thomas Shoal. Metal screamed, alarms erupted, and within seconds, calm waters turned into a battlefield of confusion. No shots fired, yet the impact echoed across the region, louder than any missile. Because in these contested waters, one wrong move isn't just a mistake, it's a message. And this message would test how far nations are willing to go before the sea itself pushes back. Dawn creeps over the South China Sea. The BRP Malabrigo, a Philippine Coast Guard patrol ship, cuts through the mist on routine watch near 2nd Thomas Shoal. Visibility, barely a mile. The hum of her engines blends with the low hiss of the waves. At 6:42 local time, radar screens bloom with a fast-moving contact. A PLA Navy Type 056A corvette, closing at 18 knots. The plot line crosses their patrol lane like a blade. The bridge officer reaches for the comms. Unidentified vessel, this is Philippine Coast Guard ship Malabrigo. State your intentions. Silence. Only static. Then, short bursts of coded beacons. The corvette doesn't slow. It alters course, nose angling toward the Malabrigo's flank. Warning horns blare. Crew brace for evasive action, but there's nowhere to go. Shoal waters all around. Through the fog, a shadow looms larger. Gray steel against white mist. Second stretch, then impact. The sound is deafening. Hull against hull, the shriek of tearing metal, sailors thrown to the deck. A guardrail folds like tin. The ship shudders, alarms erupt, radios light up. No weapons fired, just the raw force of two sovereign flags colliding in disputed water. Was it truly an accident, or the opening move in something far larger? Red lights flash across the bridge of BRP Malabrigo. The impact siren wails. 3 short bursts, then continuous. Seawater gushes through a torn portside seam, flooding compartments below deck. The ship lists 2 degrees to port. It's enough to make everyone grab for balance. Damage control teams race through narrow corridors. "Seal bulkhead 4!" a petty officer shouts, his boots splashing through rising water. In the engine room, sparks rain down as crews scramble to kill a small electrical fire near the auxiliary generator. The air smells of diesel and burnt insulation. Astern, the Chinese Type 056A corvette drifts, her bow dented, paint scraped clean to bare metal. Through binoculars, Malabrigo's captain sees men in orange vests shouting over each other on the other deck, smoke trailing from a bow compartment. Mandarin orders echo through loudspeakers, unintelligible over static. "Channel 16, call again," the captain orders. "This is Philippine Coast Guard vessel Malabrigo. We've sustained damage. Do you require assistance?" Nothing, just wind and broken radio noise. The crew steadies their ship, pumps engaged, fire contained. The engines hum back to life, but no one relaxes. Both vessels sit within 100 meters, motionless in the pale morning light, each waiting for the other to make the next move. Would help arrive, or would reinforcements escalate the standoff? At 7:25, radar officers aboard the Malabrigo spot 2 fresh returns. One approaches from the southwest, the Philippine Navy frigate BRP Jose Rizal. The other from the north, another Chinese Type 056A corvette, moving fast. The air grows heavier. On the horizon, the faint outline of rotor blades whirs to life. 2 helicopters lift from the Chinese ship, circling high in surveillance loops. Their shadows sweep across the damaged hull of the Malabrigo like watchful predators. "Maintain position," the captain orders, weapons cold. The frigate Jose Rizal transmits a coded Mayday relay, not for rescue, but for visibility. The message goes to U.S. Indo-Pacific Command. Maritime collision, escalation risk, request deconfliction support. By 8 a.m., a U.S. Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, USS Ralph Johnson, adjusts course, joining the monitoring perimeter. A Japanese destroyer follows suit from farther east. Within an hour, 4 nations' flags are mirrored on the sea. Each ship steady, each gun trained but silent. From above, satellites catch the geometry. Tight arcs of steel around one wounded Coast Guard cutter. At sea level, every lookout can feel the tension humming through the hull. The scene isn't chaos now, it's choreography. A dangerous dance in which one wrong move could turn a patrol into a war. Would diplomacy or discipline break first in this floating standoff? By mid-morning, the crisis has outgrown the sea. In Beijing, headlines label the event a navigational mishap. Yet satellite data shows something different. Deliberate course change, 18 knots on impact. Within hours, the People's Liberation Army, Southern Theater Command, orders more patrols into the Spratly sector. In Manila, officials release collision photos to the press. Twisted metal, hull markings. Proof, they say, of intentional aggression. The tension now surges from bridge decks to briefing rooms. Meanwhile, far to the east, U.S. Indo-Pacific Command issues a maritime advisory. 2 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers repositioned to international waters off Palawan, their Aegis radars tracking every vessel in the zone. No overt threat, just silent readiness. On the Malabrigo and the Chinese corvette, both captains received near-identical instructions. Hold your position, do not fire, do not withdraw, await command. Hours drag into the afternoon, engines idle, crews stay at their stations. The sea that once shimmered now feels heavy, weighed down by the eyes of nations. 12 hours of silence, 12 hours of endurance under the strain of restraint. One radio mistake, one warning flare, could rewrite history. How long could they hold the line before a single mistake sparked war? The sun sinks low, painting the South China Sea in copper and blood. The air is calm now, but the tension lingers, like static before a storm. Both ships drift in near silence, their hulls scarred and steel plates groaning. At 18:30, a faint voice crackles over the radio. Mandarin and Tagalog overlap, then merge into one halting conversation. After 12 hours of standoff, the captains finally coordinate, a joint effort to prevent another disaster. Radio checks confirm positions, engines hum to minimal thrust. A civilian tugboat appears on the horizon, flying a neutral flag. Her lights blink twice, acknowledged. She approaches the BRP Malabrigo carefully, cables ready. Crewmen aboard the corvette watch from their deck, binoculars glinting in the dying light. No gestures, no hostility, just wary silence. Under the watch of regional observers and distant satellites, both navies agree to withdraw at the same time. The Malabrigo begins her slow tow toward Palawan, speed 6 knots. The Chinese corvette turns north, limping home with a dented bow and bruised pride. By nightfall, the sea looks peaceful again. Stars pierce the fog, and the only sound left is the tug's steady engine echoing over calm water. But beneath that calm, tensions still bruise, an unspoken warning carried by the waves themselves. But would this calm hold, or was it merely the eye of a larger storm? The collision at 2nd Thomas Shoal became more than an accident. It was a wake-up call to every Navy sailing contested waters. One misread radar contact, one unreturned call, and peace can teeter on a blade's edge. For months afterward, both nations hardened patrol schedules and tightened radio rules. Yet sailors who were there still remember the sound of steel colliding, a sound that warned the world how fragile maritime order truly is. Because at sea, restraint is power, and silence can be louder than gunfire. If you found this story gripping, like and subscribe for more true naval events where seconds decide the fate of nations. When steel meets the tide, only discipline keeps the peace.